Fallon SLEEPWALKERS. Okay. Second studio album. And finally, starting to bring in some little more creative influences here and there. I'm digging it. I'm digging it, Brian. Especially with the sense of Forget Me Not. I kind of strayed away from the singles, and I decided to just wait till the album came out and just review it from that. Even though I did kind of hear a couple of them. I don't know if I did bother to hear Forget Me Not all the way, or I might have. I know I heard at least the first track that starts this album off that you just heard, If Your Prayers Don't Get to Heaven. Man, so many lines in here I wish I could have used on Rita right now. Just to give it back. It's kind of what I got out of a lot of it. And Forget Me Not is just one of those things where, you know, him kind of coping with it, wishing her back, but if not, you know, good luck to you, I guess, is what I'm kind of getting out of this thing, but this thing referring to some chick named Stacy. I guess some high school flame, maybe, or something. Stories do come off, definitely the way he writes stuff, it comes off super New York noir kind of thing, you know? As he's done in the past with Gaslight Anthem and even his last album, Painkiller, or Painkillers. I'm still trying to figure out the plural, whether or not it's a plural on this one. I do know Sleepwalkers for this one, which that title track, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Come Wander With Me is also pretty good. Etta James, I'm guessing that's one chick from, I mean, it sounds familiar. I'm guessing it's, usually he uses a lot of references to a lot of older artists of like jazz or that were around during 60s, 70s and were a big deal, like when it came to jazz or soul or just any form of rock or whatever. Whew. Some songs do kind of come off here and there much. I think by the time Sparty, it does seem like he's still kind of riding the surf thing a little bit, and then kind of brings in some of that, and then it's not up until maybe, I guess, Little Light, and then it starts to bring in more punchy guitars again, Little Nightmares, but isn't really truly until like Sleepwalkers, and of course he's had a lot more keyboard stuff going on that's definitely super psychedelic, or at least surfy kind of keyboards, you know. But it's not until like Sleepwalkers where you out of nowhere you get the saxophone or trumpet or something, and it's just kind of like, what? But it's not like it's not something that you wouldn't expect it from Bruce Springsteen anyway. At least not during like the Born to Run and Born in the USA, or at least somewhere within that time frame. That 80s time frame for him and the Easter Band kind of stuff. But the one that kind of stands out mostly for me has been My Name is the Night, Color Me Black. More so for its sonic, just the fuzzy guitar. Like for the first time I've ever heard anything Brian Fallon's ever done with fuzzy guitars, which is definitely something you definitely don't expect. It's usually more laid back, more punchy sort of guitars, very folk, maybe clearly more of the indie folks, that type of stuff, and he doesn't show that as much. He starts to branch out a little more and bring in more old school pop rock stuff of 60s and 70s, even to the extent of surf rock or surf pop and whatnot. Maybe add a little jazz stuff here and there, at least in terms of like the saxophone and whatnot. Watson kind of being sort of like a more so or less a Sherlock Holmes referencing of some sort. But My Name is the Night is just... It's more... for the most part, this album has been pretty solid. It's definitely a very pleasant listen, and for those who definitely have more of a taste for anything you've expected from him and his noir stuff. And yes, I don't have my hat. I just realized I forgot to mention that. Sorry. But overall, guys, I did enjoy this, and I do find it, and I found it kind of a pleasant surprise on at least more on its first listen. And it's not sure if it'll grow in or out on me after that past couple listens or so since, but all I can say is for right now, thumbs up, dude. Thumbs up. Did good, Brian. Now, you found a way to properly do it without exploring the different sounds in a way that fits with the mold of what he's already set up in Painkiller and through maybe even his time in Gaslight Anthem, and actually add some extra layers to the sound, texturally at least, and at least allow himself to stand out more within his own solo work as opposed to just letting himself just be immersed from what he's sticking with what he's normally used to having done. And it works here, definitely. And I hope he continues going down this path. But that's what I got to say on that. What are your thoughts on the new Brian Fallon album that just came out this past weekend? And I may decide, and for this video, I'm going to do a couple shout-outs of some albums that I didn't get a chance to talk about. One, I may save for an actual review later, but they're not that... You know what? I may just do it now, actually. No, actually, no, I'm not. Forget that one. I will mention a couple albums I've listened to. More specifically, I talked about this one jazz quartet, but I can't remember their names. Yeah, I listened to some jazz here and there. Or at least something that came across like psychedelic prog, I guess. I don't know. But I'll eventually get to that recommendation later. But the ones I do want to recommend that came out recently, for sure, has been Rabia Masad of Dorje, and mostly of YouTube fame via the Andersons crew and Chapman guitars, and more notably in the bands alongside Rob Chapman and the rest of the crew, Ben and whatnot. Let's see, it's called Grinding Gears. It's, I guess, an EP, or kind of a full length. I mean, it's 9 tracks. Kind of short, maybe not even 40 minutes, I guess. And it sounds pretty well closer to his stuff with the stuff he's done with Rob and Dorje. But it's clearly more instrumental, as to expect from him, more with Tosca. It's mostly just his stuff from his gear reviews, since it's called Grinding Gears. And they're all pretty good, especially more recent stuff like the ones for the recent bare knuckle pickups that I believe were also shown off at the Winter NAMM. Most of the title names are pretty obvious for those who keep up with his stuff. Sunset, blah, 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 blah. Like Sunset being one of the overdrive pedals, and then some of the pickups being like the Rags, which I believe was referring to the Ragnarok pickup set that was kind of sort of created, that through bare knuckle pickups that was created by Misha Mansour from Periphery. When he did demos for all those. These are basically tracks he had done for demos. And they're all pretty solid. Some, having been more current, stick with you better. But for most, like with Old Guard and Brute Force, a lot of people are preferring the first track, Brute Force, and that is a good one, for dang sure. And great choice for opener. I'll give you that, Rabia. And also, speaking of that, apparently Tuska's got this, I believe it's an EP, because they have never bothered to, like Dorje, Tuska never releases a full length. I'd like to talk about a full length instead. But other than that, speaking of full lengths, anything Tool or Mastodon related in this case, you ever wondered what a project involving Brent Hines and Danny Carey would ever be like? Well, you're in luck. Legend of the Siegelman. It sounds ridiculous, but it is ridiculous, but it sounds freaking awesome. And it definitely gives off a little bit of Tool Fix-ish in terms of production. Kind of reminds me of somewhere within the era, like sort of post Green Jelly, but has that sort of weirder sense of humor, as well as what you'd kind of expect from Tool during the OP8 and Undertow days. Definitely worth checking out. Not to mention the guy was like who does the vocals, was a director for something, and he comes off like a fucking pirate or a Viking, like such gritty girth to his fucking vocal chops, and it's just Seagull fly, like that kind of fucking vocals, just all over this thing, for the most part, I'd say. It's just worth it, for not just for kicks or for laughs. It actually has a good sound to it, and Danny Carey and Brent Hines, of course, stand the fuck out. The only thing about the bass player that might stand out is the fact his name is from Zappa, not so much from Zappa Plays Zappa, but the fact he shares a name with a fucking cartoon character, Peter Griffin. I shit you not. But if that's enough to get you to check it out, I don't know. But overall, yes. That's it, guys. I'll leave recommendations for at least those two, that EP, the EP and that full length, down below in the description, or at least I'll try to. Please subscribe. Rock that like button with thrust if you must. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.